Any contamination, dust, or debris on the printer's optical surfaces can cause the UV light that cures the resin to diffuse or weaken, resulting in a print failure. Contamination is most likely to occur on an exposed optical surface in the printer. In Form 4 and Form 4L generation printers, the optical surface most likely to be contaminated is the release texture, which sits atop the light processing unit, or LPU, and backlight unit. Light shines up from the LEDs in the backlight unit, up through the LPU and release texture, and into the resin tank. In Form 3 and Form 3L generation printers, the optical surface most likely to be contaminated is the glass optical window, which sits atop the light processing unit, or LPU. Laser light from the LPU shines up through the optical window and into the resin tank above. Use this guide to identify common print failures related to contaminated optics. If this video helps you solve your printer's issue, please like the video, and thanks for watching. Non-adherence describes a print defect in which prints are either partially or completely detached from the build platform. This occurs when the initial layers of a print fail to adhere to the build platform. Some visual symptoms of non-adherence can look like complete non-adherence at the start of a print where the print is missing from the build platform and there is a flat area of cured resin on the bottom of the resin tank. Partial non-adherence, where the print's raft partially separates from the build platform, and complete non-adherence later in the print, where the print has formed partially but has fallen into the tank during the print, leaving nothing on the build platform. Any of the following factors, or a combination of them, can cause non-adherence in prints. Printing without a raft, when the part has no suitable flat surface to grip the build platform, debris, clouding, or damage in the resin tank weakening the printer's UV light, or contaminated optical surfaces weakening the printer's UV light. If the layers of the print are separating from each other within the part, and the raft is still attached to the build platform, the printer is likely experiencing another print defect such as delamination. Delamination describes a print defect in which the cured layers of a print separate from one another. Delamination can occur on any type of 3D printer, though the causes are unique to each print process. Some visual symptoms of delamination can look like peeling or separation between printed layers, or pieces of cured parts floating in the resin tank. As with non-adherence, delamination can be caused by an occluded optical window or release texture. Less light reaching the resin leads to incomplete curing, which can allow layers to separate. Delamination can also occur after long pauses mid-print. A pinhole or cut describes a print defect in which a small region of the part does not form. This void can take the form of a small hole, a tunnel that runs through the part, or a slit that cuts through the part. These are some visual symptoms of pinholes or cuts in prints. A void that passes through the entire print, including the raft, if one is used. The void may take the form of a small hole in one portion of the part, or a linear slit that extends across the part. A hole or cut may lead to one or more undeveloped features, depending on the geometry and orientation of the part. If while curing a layer, the light is blocked before it reaches the resin, that portion of the part will not form properly. If the obstruction is on a stationary surface, a hole may develop directly above that point. If the blockage is on a moving surface, a linear cut may develop instead, following the path of the blockage. On Form 4 and Form 4L generation printers, all of the optical surfaces remain stationary during the print, so a pinhole could be due to debris in the resin tank or on the LPU release texture. On Form 3 and Form 3L generation printers, the resin tank remains stationary while the LPU and optical window move below it. Here, a pinhole could be due to debris in the resin tank, while a slit or cut could be from debris on the optical window. An undeveloped feature is a print defect in which a chunk of your model fails to print, forming a void that widens as the print builds away from the build platform. These voids can look like a crater and frequently exhibit sharp edges and rough surfaces. In some cases, it can look like the missing material exploded outwards from the build platform. As with a pinhole, an undeveloped feature or explosion starts with something blocking light from reaching the resin in a particular spot. For example, if a print partially fails and a chunk of cured resin sticks to the bottom of the resin tank, that piece blocks light from reaching the next layer of the print. The piece stuck to the tank expands with each additional cured layer and prevents other features from forming. This cascading growth creates the explosion-like effect. Common visual symptoms of undeveloped features often look like a void within a print that expands outwards from the earliest layer to the most recent layer, usually with sharp edges and rough surfaces like a crater, or a layer of cured resin on the bottom of the resin tank. Contamination on the optical window or release texture could cause the initial print failure that grew into this larger undeveloped feature or explosion. Rashing and ragging are two types of print defects involving rough surface finish. If your print exhibits rashing, one or more surfaces will be rough or bumpy even if they were intended to be smooth and untextured. A print exhibiting ragging will have bits of cured or partially cured resin hanging off of it, forming thin, shelf-like structures. These structures, also called flaps, can detach from the part during printing. Once these flaps are floating in the resin tank, they can block the light's path and cause print failures in subsequent layers. Ragging and rashing can both be caused by contamination on an optical surface in the printer. If the UV light is diffused rather than blocked completely, the printer may have difficulty accurately curing the perimeter of each layer. The common factor tying these print defects together is that they can all be caused by something blocking or weakening the printer's UV light before it reaches the liquid resin in the resin tank. If your prints show any of these defects, check your printer's optical surfaces. Those include the optical window on Form 3 and Form 3L generation printers, the release texture on Form 4 and Form 4L generation printers, as well as the bottom of the resin tank itself. If you see any debris or other contamination, clean it off before trying another print. Follow along with our video on how to clean the Form 3 optical window and cleaning the release texture on the Form 4 for further steps. Did this video help you get printing again? If so, please leave a like on our video and subscribe for more. What video do you want to see next? Leave a comment to tell us more.